What's going on, everybody? It's TheNidien, and we got some Guild Wars 2, and this is going to be pretty much my first impressions on the game, as I'm having a blast. And now that I've gotten into it a little bit more, kind of figured out what was going on. As you can see, I switched away from the Thief class for a little bit to try out a Necromancer, and I've kind of just went with it. But this game's got a lot going for it, especially being free to play after you buy the initial purchase. Obviously, the graphics look great. The mechanics between all the different classes are really cool. I see a lot of engineers running around with flamethrowers, kind of fill up your screen with nothing but flames. It's hard to see what's going on. But right now I'm going kind of with a pet build with my Necromancer, because I don't really know too much in depth as far as the class goes. So I just decided to just have as many pets out as humanly possible to kind of take the relief off of me just a little bit so I can figure it out. But the mechanic behind it, when you can switch weapons between a staff, an axe, a dagger, and a scepter, I do believe. Each one has their own abilities. I really dig the play style with the and the abilities you get with the dagger, but I don't have a dagger that even compares to the weapons I'm using as far as my staff and scepter goes. So I kind of fallen away from that, and as soon as I find one, maybe with some karma along the line that's level appropriate, I'm going to get back into the daggers because it's got a cool lifesteal ability. You're really up close. The damage output seems to be a lot greater than the scepter or the axe, even though the scepter and axe are ranged, and the dagger you have to be right up in person. But the thing with the pets is they kind of take off the aggro as it is anyway, so it really doesn't matter with me being up there. And then I can just lifesteal back, kind of dodge out of the way, switch over to my staff, and then go from there, because the staff has, as you can see, I've been using the staff quite frequently. It's got more of the AoE abilities. You kind of drop area effect spells all over the place, and it works out really well. Like this, as you can see here, I kind of froze them and got them off my back a little bit as I ran out of there, because I was going to be toast if I didn't get out of there. So the scepter works out really well. I should say the staff. I usually start it off with the staff, and then I'll switch over to, say, the axe or the scepter, depending on which weapon I have equipped in my secondary slot real quick. So being able to switch back and forth frequently is really cool. I really like that idea, because I can, like I said, throw out the AoEs, boom, switch over to my dagger or staff, and just go to town, and I got all that damage output coming from different directions all over the place. So I'm really digging that. Another thing I'm really digging, as you can see here, is these vistas, and this reminds me a lot of the Datacrons in Star Wars. And I really like that concept, where you gotta you see it on the map, and you kind of gotta figure out a way to get to it. And some of them are really difficult to get to, some of them are really easy to get to. It's just one of those things, but it kind of gives you another aspect to kind of look forward to, as you're like, okay, I'm coming up on a vista, there it is, how do I get to it? It's a lot of fun. I'm going to do some guides over on the VidThru Hub, over on Own TV for the different vistas, and we'll go from there, as well as the points of interest and all that other stuff. Another thing I really like is there isn't a set quest. You don't go unless otherwise outside of your story quest. You don't go okay, go to this person, we're going to kill 3 rats, come back. Go to this person, we're going to kill 5 sheep, come back. Go to that person, you have to collect 10 little things and come back. You kind of just go to the quest waypoint, which is a heart on your map, and you have a bunch of different objectives that you can do. You can pick stuff up, you can kill the enemies in the area or the animals in the area. You can go over some of them, you transform into different things. You don't have to, but you have that option as well, and you kind of play with a bunch of different abilities there. So I really dig that. It kind of makes everything not so, how do I want to put it? It makes it so not so tedious, where you're like, okay, we got to go do another collection quest. You just kind of run up, boom, here's a quest hub, do this, you get your karma, you can buy some weapons, or you can save it, which I'm doing, and I really like that. The crafting, I'm kind of getting into that right now. I picked up tailoring and jewel crafting. I'm having a hard time understanding jewel crafting at the moment. Tailoring, I can see what I got to do. I got to put refined materials. You got to put them in there. You make different crafting recipes, and then you go from there. So I'm kind of going back and forth, because I'm tailoring. Haven't come across a whole lot of cloth. So what I need to do is get a whole bunch of low-level cloth items, blow them up, get my cloth, and kind of go from there. And I kind of out-leveled the first zone, so I got to kind of go back and do a couple things there. But they give you 4 starting zones that you can play around with, 4 or 5 starting zones actually, and you can go to each one of them, and you do all the quests there, and you get a bunch of materials from doing that. So it's not really that bad. Jewel crafting, on the other hand, I'm having a hard time deciding what is actually going on there, because I make the copper bars, and I make the copper settings, but I don't have anything I can put together in the refining materials to actually make something different other than the settings. Like I can make like an earring setting, a ring setting, and something else, and I don't exactly know what's going on there. So I got to figure that out. I have a whole bunch of like little pixie dust, but that's 50 jewel crafting. I haven't found anything lower than that. Usually there's something around 0, 25, and I still haven't figured out anything there. So we're still playing around with that just a tad bit and going from there. But crafting is really, really interesting in the way they laid it out, because you don't really buy any recipes. You got to figure them out on your own and kind of level it up that way. So it's more of like a guild thing. If you have a guild and you have a bunch of people and they're not doing tailoring or anything like that, have them throw them your cloth and all that other stuff. Some of these enemies, and another thing I like is the difficulty level, as far as these enemies are they're around my level, but say I'm level 22 and I'm going up to level 25 mobs, they're actually really difficult to kill. If you get into a big mess of them, you're in a lot of trouble in a hurry, especially being as squishy as I am up front. But I also like getting on the level thing, is if I go into a zone, like say I go to a newbie zone, they level me back. So I'm level 22, but if I go in a newbie zone, they'll level me down to 4. So I'll kind of be on par with the mobs there, and it gives you according to EXP, so you can still level up really well by going to the newbie zones and finding all the points of interest, doing all the quests there. It's not that, they don't put a big burden on you where, okay, you got to go to the newbie zone to find all this stuff, but you're not going to be able to level it all. So I really like how they're doing that. Overall, I really, really enjoy the game. I suggest picking it up if you guys are looking for something different and don't want to worry about a subscription fee. So that's what I got for you guys today. This is my first thoughts on Guild Wars 2. We've got a lot more coming to you guys as I play around with this. This is a good game, and I'm really interested in it. So, as always, have a great day. Peace.